Окей. Сегодня мы немножко поучимся из книги Пеле Ёэц «Чудесный Советник». Мы уже дошли до раздела, который называется «Гадоль». Гадоль – это большой, великий. И сказано так. Шимха агадоль акадош ванура. Святое имя Всевышнего, большое, великое имя Всевышнего. Мы должны понимать, что сам Всевышний для нас не посягаем. Даже если мы будем задумываться о Его величии, все, чего мы можем достичь, это в рамках своего разума. А наш разум очень ограничен. И это наподобие того, что написано в книге Сефер Харедим. Сефер Харедим. Ребенок, который умеет читать до 10. Скажите ему, что такое бесконечность. Он будет думать, что бесконечность это 100. Если он научился читать до 100, скажите ему, что такое бесконечность. Он будет думать, что бесконечность это 1000 или 10 000. Да? Мы в своем разуме не подходим даже под категорию ребенка, который умеет до 10 считать. В сравнении своим разумом к постижению величия Всевышнего. Все, что мы можем постичь, это ничто по сравнению с действительно его величием, его бесконечностью. И если посмотреть на весь мир глазами исследователя, весь мир физический, все планеты, все галактики, посмотреть в духовные миры, сколько там есть ангелов, которые занимаются своими должностями. Для каждого создания в физическом мире есть ангел, который говорит этому созданию жить, расти и существовать. То есть, что значит говорит? То есть, через него, через этого ангела проходит жизненная сила к этому созданию в этом мире физическом. Так можете представить себе, сколько миллионы, миллиарды и триллионы ангелов есть. И это все войско Всевышнего. И это все войско Всевышнего. У каждой планеты есть свой ангел-покровитель. У Солнца есть свой ангел, у Луны, у Земли, у Нептуна, у Плутона и так далее. У каждой планеты есть свой ангел-покровитель. И это сколько планет есть во всех галактиках. Это наводит нас на мысль о том, что мы не имеем права вообще думать о самом Всевышнем. Как-то пытаться постичь Его сущность. Что мы можем, это только лишь постичь сущность Его создания. Через Его создание мы осознаем, насколько велик сам Всевышний. Но о Нем самом мы даже не имеем права думать. Как сказано в книге в Зоаре Птихат Ильяу, есть текст, который называется Птихат Ильяу, когда пророк Ильяу начинает говорить с Раби Шимон и объяснять тайны миров. Он говорит, что лейт махшават фиса бахклаль. Никакая мысль не может постигнуть самого Всевышнего. И также сказал нам один из песнопевцев еврейских, который, он сказал так: ты можешь постигать Его действия, ты можешь постигать Его создание, но ты не можешь постигать самого Всевышнего. И это помогает нам понять наше ничтожное существование, нашу ничтожность по отношению к величию Всевышнего. Кто мы такие вообще? Мы даже не пылинки по отношению ко Всевышнему. И все равно Всевышний обращает на нас внимание. Почему? Потому что Для Всевышнего нету расстояния далеко, близко. Он находится здесь. Потому что Всевышний не только окружает этот мир, он его еще и заполняет. Тяжело нам понять, что это значит. Но нужно понимать, что Всевышний к каждому созданию своему относится индивидуально. Даже к неодушевленным созданиям, как камни, вода, песок и растения, и животные. Животные какие? Насекомые. Да? Молекулы, разные живые существа, одноклеточные. К каждому он относится индивидуально. Где мы это видим? Если исследовать каждую молекулу, можно обнаружить в ней имя Всевышнего. Можно обнаружить в ней имя Всевышнего. И ученые это уже нашли. В каждой молекуле можно обнаружить имя Всевышнего, которое является и является этой жизненной энергией, которая оживляет эту молекулу. Имя Всевышнего. Без имени Всевышнего ничего не существует в этом мире. Гуфа мицва, выгорает мицва. И осознание величия Всевышнего и осознание нашего по отношению ко Всевышнему ничтожества, мы должны прийти к любви к Нему, к страху перед Ним, к трепету, к исполнению Его заповедей с радостью, с покорностью. И отсюда и исходит вся наша вера, отсюда и исходит. Когда мы начинаем постигать мироздание с точки зрения создания Бога. Потому что можно постигать мироздание из других точек зрения. Просто познавать мир. В русской школе был предмет природоведения. Познавать мир. Как природа существует, растения, животные. Там потом начинался предмет зоология, потом биология, потом химия. Познавать мир. Но это познавание мира никак не связывало нас с Богом. И поэтому мудрецы говорят, что все, что человек познает и не привязывает к Богу, это не называется мудростью. Это не называется мудростью, это называется ошибкой. Мудрость — это когда то, что он познал, он привязывает к Богу. Через мироздание мы познаем самого Всевышнего. Мы познаем Его величие, Его бесконечность. I'm going to start saying English, okay? So we are talking about the glory of God, talking about how almighty, how Ein Sof, so Hashem, endless. How can we investigate glory of God from His creation? The God Himself, we cannot investigate. It's impossible and it's not allowed. Like Ptichat Eliyahu says, Leit machshavat tfisa b'klal. Leit machshavat tfisa b'klal. So no thought can touch the glory of God. No thought. Only you can touch the creation of God. And from the creation you understand the glory, the endlessness and eternity of God. From this you can come to love God, to fear from Him, to serve Him with fear and happiness. How Hashem, even though we are in front of Him, even though not dust, We are no dust even in front of him. But he relates to us, to every one of us, individually. Every one of us. And gives us all the energy, all the power, all the strength we need to survive in this world. And not only materially, not only physically, but spiritually. Every part of creation has the name of God in it. Every part of creation. What does it mean, the name of God? The living power that Hashem sends to every part of creation. Constantly. Living power that creates the life in this world. That's why we say, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem, to Hashem we sing the glory, to Hashem we sing the honor, we honor Hashem, we glorify Him. And from His glory, from His honor, He brought to this world. He gave to everyone of His creation. And we need to respect, to honor everyone who is bigger than us in wisdom and in years. Like father and mother, right? Like teachers, rabbis, like older brother, and even older sisters. We need to respect and honor them because Hashem commanded us so. And if we don't do it properly, we are committing sin against God. If we don't respect and don't honor whoever is supposed to be honored, we're committing sin against God. And a person should not ask to be bigger than others, like to be a rabbi, to be president. Should not ask to have power on other people. Why? Because Pirkei Avot says, Rabbanut mikaberet et ba'aleya. What does it mean? Power will bring you to the grave faster. Why? Because you now have responsibilities. The more responsibilities you have, right, the more strength you waste on these responsibilities. Your living strength, your living power. Because of this, you will lose your life. You will live less than you're supposed to live. So you should not ask for power. If Hashem wants you to do this job, of course you should accept it, but not to strive for this. Because power can bring a person to arrogance, to pride. Okay? So, and it's very, very hard to get rid of this pride. A person should constantly work on himself, not to get proud, not to get arrogant. And in every city, in every town where there's community, a Jewish community is supposed to put on themselves a head of the community. A rabbi, a wise person that will control the community, will do everything possible to grow it and to give all the services to the community. And when they do it, they have to respect him as a king.
What's going to happen?
Why? Why? Because if you don't have a head, if everyone thinks himself a head, it will be chaos. You need to have a head. According to majority of the community, they choose a head of the community. According to majority, as we said, Torah chooses the majority, the choice of majority. So from here, understand that if a community does not have a head, it's a chaos. Hashem doesn't like it. Hashem wants in every community to have somebody that controls it, that leads them to the better, to the path of God, to the path of Torah. And in every house as well, supposed to be one head, not two heads, not four heads, one head. And who is this? A husband, not a wife. Why? The Gemara says, whoever is listening to his wife, it means he's always listening to his wife, Hashem does not accept his prayers. His prayers are not accepted. He needs to lead the house. Doesn't mean to have power, enforce his power. No, lead the house. Lead the house in the way of Torah, in the path of Torah. And the wife is supposed to accept him as a head of the family. This is her obligation. This is her. In this, she will have the mitzvah, she will have the commandment, and will have reward for it, if she puts her husband as a head of the family. Why? Because man, in natural way, has more responsibilities and more wisdom to lead others. A woman does not have such a wisdom. She has more emotions. She relates to everything emotionally. A man relates to everything with his mind. That's why a mind has to be on top of the emotion. You need to consider the thought of your wife, but you should not accept it always. You need to understand it, consider it, and decide for yourself what to do. Not always go according to your wife. Now we came to the part that says gader. Gader means a border. A border, a person is supposed to put a border on.
Yeah, it's a fence.
Fence? Fence, okay. Fence.
Border, the gvul.
Gvul, right, gvul as well. We explain it later now. A border, a fence, what does it mean? Everyone is obligated to put on himself a fence, a border, to stop himself from doing sins, from committing sins. If he feels that is weak in something, that he always commits sin in any way, he needs to stop, to bring himself to the border and say to himself, up till this. For example, if a person likes to drink a lot, he needs to stop to drink at all until he feels that he can control his weakness, right? And then he can come to the middle way. This is what it means to put a border, to put a fence. It says, Asu mishmeret, Asu siyag la Torah, like it says in Pirkei Avot, to put a fence on my Torah, on my laws. How? So people will not commit sins against the Torah. Asu mishmeret le mishmarti. והכל לפי מה שהוא אדם. And everything according to the person himself. Everyone knows his own weaknesses. Not only our sages supposed to put borders with their takanot, with their laws, the Rabbanan, right, from Chachamim, to put laws so nobody can commit sin against Torah. Not only, a person himself supposed to put borders for himself. This is a commandment to everyone. And if he commits sin again, he needs to promise to himself that he will pay fine. He will pay a fine if he commits a sin again. For example, if a person screams on his children, he becomes angry often. Every time he becomes angry, he puts fine on himself and gives the tzedakah, he gives donation. Every time, puts aside the donation because he sinned. Like this, he will understand. I need to keep myself off getting angry. Or he can say to himself, for example, he likes to eat a lot. He can make to himself once a week a fast day. So he can conquer the love of food. Put himself fast. Fast one day a week. If he cannot do it, put half a day. Half a day, no, don't eat anything. Or any suffering he can bring to himself until he will break his bad character trait or his bad habit. He needs to put suffering on himself. But not torturing his body, because Hashem doesn't like it. The suffering that he can survive. And of course, we said already, a person should not go according to his desires to take a lot from this world. He needs to take only whatever he needs for his living, for his survival. Not more than that. And Hashem, I heard it today from one of the rabbis, Hashem really loves when a person works on himself and trying to break bad habit by taking suffering to him on himself. Hashem really likes it. For example, people like to talk a lot, and eventually they talk lashon hara, they talk motzi shem ra, right? They what?
What is this? Motzi shem ra?
Motzi shem ra, it means to say a lie about somebody which can damage him.
Who?
To say a lie about somebody, about some Jew. To say a lie about some Jew. Come in. So lashon hara is something to say true that can be derogatory to anybody. The motzi shem ra is saying lie that can be derogatory to anybody, to be a damage to him, to his life. So how you can work on your bad character trait, on your bad habit, saying lashon hara about other people? Take upon yourself Shabbat. Shabbat, you don't talk. And many Chachamim say, and also Mekubalim, to take upon yourself, be quiet the whole Shabbat, is even higher level than not eating at all, than taking fast from eating. is even higher level. People can survive without food, but they cannot survive without talking about others. So that's why it's very important if a person wants, first of all, he should not take right away the whole day, the whole Shabbat, or every Shabbat. Take a little bit, little by little, until you get get used to it. And then it's very important. Shabbat, you talk only Divrei Torah, or you don't talk at all. You pray, you talk Divrei Torah, and you don't talk anything else. Like this, you fix your.
Saying some Divrei Torah.
I'm saying only Divrei Torah. Only Divrei Torah or prayer, but not talking.
Well, how do I know what to speak and what not to speak then?
No,
possible not to speak.
So you read whatever you read, you just explain to your family. That's it.
It's kind of hard with children.
Yes, it's hard.
Посмотрим. Попробуй. Я делаю это много раз. It's different. I'm burning you. It's different. You should try it. I tried once. Посмотрим, какую энергию тебе появится в суждении. How your mind is clear. Сделай это. Делай.
Another thing Chachamim say, and the Rabbi Eliezer Papa brings us, a person should see and remember, and from a memory, he should come to the action of not committing sins. So how a person will keep himself off from doing sins, by reading constantly Divrei Musar, by reading constantly ethical teachings of our sages. If you constantly reading it once a day, if you need once a day, if you need once a week, constantly reading it, you become familiar with this, you become used to it, and it's very easy for you to keep yourself off doing sins. That's why he brings here explanation, as Pirkei Avot says. You should run to do mitzvah and run away from the avira, from the sin. And another thing is Pirkei Avot says, "Ulefum tzara agra." According to your level is your reward. For example, if you just be starting in Torah observance, you should not strive to be Moshe Rabbeinu right away. You cannot be Moshe Rabbeinu. You will start gradually, and whatever you take upon yourself, step by step, Hashem considers for you like you now in the level of Moshe Rabbeinu. Why? Because it's hard for you. But step by step, if you take everything right away, you can break yourself.
Subconsciously, you know that you're not going to get up to the level.
Right, but you need to get to your best potential. Right? You need to get to your best potential.
It's impossible.
We always should think and strive for better, and ask Hashem how we can come to the level of our forefathers, of Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov, and Moshe, and David HaMelech. How we come to these levels. Even though we understand we will never get to these levels, but we have to strive. Once students of Chafetz Chaim, Rabbi Cohen, one second, what's his name? Rabbi Meir Cohen, right? Right. Israel Meir Cohen, right. Rabbi Israel Meir Cohen. Students asked him, how did you get to this level of not doing sin? He used to, when he wrote the book of Lashon Hara, Chafetz Chaim, people thought, okay, this is Chafetz Chaim himself. He can keep all these laws because he doesn't talk much. But he eventually started to talk a lot, to show others You can talk a lot and still keep yourself from doing sins of Lashon Hara. And they said, how did you get to this level? He said, I always strive to be like Gaon Mevilna. I always strive to be like Rabbi Eliyahu HaKohen. Because I strived for higher level, I became whatever I am now. If you strive for higher level, you will become whatever you are. If you don't strive at all, you will not become anyone. You have to strive for higher level, to be better, to be best yourself, right? But how do you know what is the best of yourself? How do you know? So you have to strive to be like your forefathers, like the sages that lived before you. This way you will become best yourself. So a person should be very careful to keep his mouth not to take and not to take in and not to take out anything bad. Right? Not to eat something that has doubts of kashrut. Not only has for sure not kosher, doubts of kashrut, not to take in your mouth. Because it says, Samta sakin beloecha ki ba'al nefesh ata. You should put like a knife on your throat if you God-fearing Jew. Loecha, throat, right? Throat. Throat. This is throat.
Yeah, the throat is going right.
Okay, the people understand what I'm saying. I'm not professional English speaker, but you understand what I'm saying.
He's not a professor.
Professor, yeah.
He's not a professor.